Okay, so ready to get deep into To Kill a Mockingbird.
Absolutely. It's a classic for a reason, right?
Yeah, and I think with these excerpts, we can really get into some of the details about life in Maycomb.
Definitely. Especially with this lens of race and class during the Depression. I mean, talk about a pressure cooker, right?
Exactly, and that's what makes it so compelling. So we're talking the 1930s, the South struggling to cope with the Depression. And it's not just the economics, it's the whole social fabric, right?
Absolutely. Like, Harper Lee captures this so well. It's like, on the surface, you've got these idyllic descriptions of Maycomb. Remember that line about the ladies in the summertime? Soft tea cakes with frostings of sweat and sweet talcum.
Oh yeah, it's such a vivid image.
It is, but it masks a deeper truth. Like, the Depression didn't invent prejudice in Maycomb. It just turned up the heat.
Totally. And you see that in how families are viewed, right? It's not just about money, it's about lineage, how long your family's been reading and writing.
Yes, Jem said that right. It's about, like, where you fit in the social pecking order.
And how hard it is to break free from that. Like, look at the Cunninghams. Hardworking, but trapped in this cycle of poverty. Sharecropping. Entailment.
It's heartbreaking. These systems designed to keep people like the Cunninghams down, and because of that, they're judged so harshly. Even though Atticus makes it clear they have their own code, their own sense of pride.
Exactly. Remember that scene where Walter Cunningham comes to dinner at the Finches?
Oh, with the syrup?
Yes. Pouring sap all over his food, Scout's mortified.
Oh, totally. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about these unspoken social rules in Maycomb.
Not like a crash course in Maycomb manners, courtesy of Calpurnia. Poor Scout. She's just a kid. Totally oblivious.
But that's the thing about children, right? They're constantly absorbing these unspoken rules of the adult world. And it's a world where appearances often matter more than reality.
And speaking of appearances versus reality, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, that creepy old house at the edge of town, the Radley place.
Ooh, yes. The Radley place, shrouded in mystery. A perfect example of how fear and gossip can turn a family into outcasts, just because they keep to themselves.
It's like the town projects all their anxieties onto them.
Right.
Turns them into boogeymen.
And the kids, Scout, Jem, Dill,
Yeah.
they buy into it too. All those wild stories and games about Boo Radley.
Feeding their imaginations with half-truths and rumors.
But isn't that a reflection of the adult world they're growing up in? They see how adults whisper about the Radleys, how they avoid the house.
It's really sad. Like, what if someone just, I don't know, went up and talked to Boo, got to know him?
That's a question that applies to so much more than just Boo Radley, don't you think? How often do we judge others based on whispers and assumptions instead of, actually getting to know them?
It's like that saying, right? Justice delayed is justice denied. And in Tom Robinson's case, it feels like justice wasn't even on the table.
You're right, it's heartbreaking. The trial exposes just how rigged the system was against someone like Tom. And it's not just about the laws, but the deeply ingrained prejudices that permeated Maycomb society.
And Bob Ewell. Man, he plays the whole thing like a fiddle.
A master manipulator. He knows exactly what buttons to push, preying on the jury's fears and biases about black men.
It's just infuriating the way he twists the narrative. And Mayella, too, caught in this web of lies and manipulation. You almost feel sorry for her.
Right. She's a victim too, but of her circumstances, her upbringing.
Trapped by the very system that's oppressing Tom.
It's tragic. And then there's Tom, a man of quiet dignity, just trying to do the right thing.
And immediately labeled a villain because of the color of his skin.
It's a harsh reminder that in Maycomb, a black man's word held little weight. It's like the deck was stacked against him from the start.
Even with Atticus defending him. I mean, talk about a legal powerhouse.
Yeah.
Atticus dismantles the prosecution's case, piece by piece.
Right. He exposes the lies, the inconsistencies, everything.
His closing argument, though, that's where it hits you in the gut.
Oh, I know. When he pleads with the jury to do their duty, to see Tom for who he truly is.
Do you really think they might listen? That justice might actually prevail?
Yeah, you get your hopes up, even though deep down.
You know it's Maycomb.
Exactly. And the verdict, just devastating.
A gut punch. Not just for Tom, but for anyone who dared to believe that things could be different.
It shakes you to your core. But amidst all that despair, you see glimmers of hope, like the black community rallying around Atticus, showing their gratitude.
Oh, that scene where they bring food to his house. Gets me every time. They appreciate what you did, Mr. Finch.
Powerful stuff.
So much unspoken respect and understanding in that gesture.
A testament to the strength and resilience of a community that's no stranger to adversity.
It's about finding hope in unexpected places, right?
Yeah.
Like Miss Maudie, she's like this ray of sunshine cutting through all the darkness and prejudice.
Oh, absolutely. She's a breath of fresh air, isn't she? with her common sense and her love for her garden.
And her unwavering support for Atticus.
She refuses to be swayed by the town's gossip.
She sees things clearly.
A true individual.
Which brings us to Mr. Dolphus Raymond, Maycomb's resident enigma, pretending to be a drunkard.
Right, like he's giving folks a reason to write him off.
But then, remember when Scout and Dill discover the truth?
What's really in that paper bag? Classic To Kill a Mockingbird moment.
It's Coca-Cola, not liquor.
He chooses to live as an outcast, makes people think he's something he's not.
Because it's easier than challenging their prejudices head-on, right?
It's a powerful statement, though. Like he's saying, judge me all you want, but don't pretend it's for any other reason than your own discomfort with what you don't understand.
It makes you think, how often do we do that? Create these stories about people to make ourselves feel better.
All the time, right? It's easier than confronting our own biases.
And speaking of seeing beyond the surface, we got to talk about Boo Radley. He goes from this shadowy figure of fear to, well, a real person.
Yeah, the ending when Scout stands on his porch, watching him go back inside. It's like she finally sees him.
Not the monster from the rumors, but a man who's been hurt, misunderstood.
Exactly. It's a powerful moment of empathy, reminding us that everyone has a story.
And that sometimes the bravest thing is to look past our fears, our assumptions, and really connect with another human being.
And that's what makes To Kill a Mockingbird so impactful, right? It doesn't wrap things up neatly. It leaves you with this feeling.
Yeah, like a knot in your stomach. Because Maycomb isn't just some fictional town, is it?
Not at all. The prejudices, the injustices, the fight for equality, it's still happening today.
Makes you wonder, if Maycomb were a real place now, would it be any different? Or would those same issues still be lurking beneath the surface?
It's a tough question, but an important one to ask ourselves.
About our own communities, right? Where do we see echoes of Maycomb in the world today?
And what are we doing to challenge those inequalities, those ingrained biases?
That's the real takeaway, isn't it? To Kill a Mockingbird isn't just a story, it's a call to action. What can we each do in our own lives to make a difference? To stand up for what's right, even when it's hard? To challenge our own assumptions and really see the people around us? I think that's something we're thinking about long after you finish this book.
Absolutely.